Hi, everyone, and welcome to our X39 review and testimonial. Tonight is Thursday, December 2nd. Happy December, on to a new month. We're so excited to have everyone on the call. So far, we already have 164 people on this call because, man, we're talking stem cell technology, and it seems to me that everybody wants to hear about it. So we have a special guest. I cannot wait to introduce to you Dr. Erik Sanders. But before we do that, I just want you to, if you're new to the call, just thank the person that invited you, because you're going to learn a lot in the next 30 minutes. And know that Lifewave is not intended to cure, treat, or diagnose any disease. So with that, I'm going to just tell you a bit about Dr. Erik Sanders. I was blessed to meet him a year ago. He is a partner of a good friend of mine. And it turns out that he is a doctor in pharmacy in the Netherlands. And he comes from a family of doctors, of science, of pharmacy. I mean, he is, I'm not kidding you, the doctor. And he actually made his money in marketing for pharmaceutical companies in the Netherlands. I don't know if you guys know this, but the Netherlands is one of the biggest marketing countries for pharmaceutical products. And Erik is a master at online marketing, funnel marketing campaigns for pharmaceuticals. So that's where he comes from. Fast forward, his story is interesting. My question to Erik is, how does a pharma guy that makes all his money marketing pharma turn into a natural patch guy? Like, hello? So there must be a story to that, right? So Dr. Erik Sanders, why don't you tell everybody just a little bit about you, and then how you found us, and how you kind of converted to being a bit more natural.
Yeah, it was an interesting journey for sure. So welcome everybody, and I have to apologize for my English. It's not my first language. I'll do my best, but we'll see. Well, my background, as you say, Marcy, I was educated in pharmacology, and I also got my MBA degree from a business school in Europe. I come from, as you say, a family that was really into this whole pharmaceutical and medical business. My father was a pharmacist. He was an inventor and a developer of drugs, chemicals, molecules that are still used up to this date. He was also a conservative politician in our country, so he had a lot to do with policies on healthcare. My mother, on the other hand, was a doctor. She was working in a nursing home. She did a lot of community services, etc., etc. She was a social democrat, so we had a lot of discussions at our dinner table, maybe a little bit the same what's happening in your country at this moment, but on a different level, of course. And I was working in this, I more or less evolved into the pharmaceutical industry and the marketing of it, because I didn't want to be in pharmaceutical industry at all in the beginning, because I didn't want to be the son of my father. And that's something from, let's say, well, I'm 65, so that's something of 40 years ago. So I joined Philips Electronics, which is a big multinational, and I worked in their physics laboratory researching artificial intelligence, not the neural networks we have today, just the rule-based things. But after a while, I couldn't resist to go into the pharmaceutical industry. I became product manager at Glaxos. I did development there for the first dry powder inhaler for COPD and asthma. I worked for McKinsey in Japan for a couple of years, working on pharmaceutical projects with companies from the three continents, Europe, America, Japan, making all kinds of swap deals. And then I was more or less groomed there to come into this big pharmaceutical company in the Netherlands. My father used to be CEO there. He retired from that. I came in more or less his place, but I really did not enjoy it. I was responsible there for business development, for R&D, bringing new products to market, that kind of stuff. But I was so really fed up from the beginning with shareholders and all that kind of people going for next quarter's results, while we really had a vision for the longer term, including home care diagnostics, stuff like that, and bringing all kinds of new innovations into more the healthcare space instead of the sick care space. But okay, I said I'm not going to do this much longer. So when I was about 33 or something like that, I founded my own agency, and I started helping pharmaceutical companies in marketing with their strategy, with the positioning of the product, their messaging, and since 1999, what you're saying with digital communication. In an era where you had to dial into the internet, we were doing internet. So we were a little bit early, but okay. I did a lot of work for pharmaceutical companies. I founded a separate company into the internet space for doctors and other healthcare professionals. And I worked day and night, really starting at 6 until 11, 12 at night. And after a year or so, at 47, I had a heart attack. And I can teach everybody how to get a heart attack really soon. Don't eat right, don't exercise, have a lot of stress, and do not have any social support system in place. And I guarantee you it'll take a couple of months, maybe a year, but you'll get it. So after that, I started to live a little bit healthier. I sold the internet company really to Merck, and they made it into a really successful website for healthcare professionals. And then I was focusing just on bringing products for big pharma to market. We do a lot of projects. You said the Netherlands.
You do a lot of projects. You say the Netherlands, Erik. We lost you for a minute. Stacy, do you still have me?
Yes.
I have you.
We
yes,
lost you for a minute. You did a lot of projects in the Netherlands.
Yeah, we deal with a lot of projects for pharma companies in the Netherlands, but the Netherlands is part of the European Union, and the European Union is now one market. So we expanded our market into the whole European Union, working also for a lot of American companies like Merck, Pfizer, Abbott, AbbVie, Japanese companies.
So, let me ask you this, Erik. I think we've got a good background of who you are, who you work for.
Okay.
Basically, marketing.
But I'm
now.
coming to, I came to the States because we were doing these projects in Europe for American companies. Mm-hmm. They asked us to come over to the States. I founded a corporation here in New York. We're on Fifth Avenue in WeWork Empire State there. And I started to work there. My son was studying in the States for already a couple of years. He's friends with Gail's daughter. They were together there. They came visit me for their spring break. I met Gail through our kids, and Gail told me about her activities in another company working with natural pathways, stuff like that. I got interested. I was
for one moment though. I know she told you about that, but you had this heart attack. So were you on a whole bunch of pharma medicine?
Oh,
I just want to name
I had 4 or 5 different types of medicine. I was on like statins. I had something really bad going on with my cholesterol, so I had acetamib. I don't know if it's called Energy in the States, I think. So that's a cholesterol reuptake inhibitor. I had something for high blood pressure, and I had aspirin for blood clotting, so keep the blood thin. So and I was really not happy with that.
Okay, so just 1 minute, because people want to hear this part. So I'm gonna slow you down a little bit because your story's so good. So far, just to rewind, a pharma guy overworked, doing pharma marketing, had a heart attack. Pharma guy starts a whole bunch of pharmaceutical products to help the heart attack. Pharma guy moves to New York and falls in love with one of my best friends.
Right.
My best friend is a naturalist. Okay, I just wanted to kind of get the story. So now go. Yes, thank you.
Yes, so that happened. And I really reversed my, let's say, I got off all medication. And well, as soon as we learned more, about this whole activating natural pathway through light therapy, I got also interested in that. It took me a while. You can agree with that. It took me a year to research it and all that kind of stuff, because I didn't believe it at first. I thought it's too good to be true. And I wanted to get really into the science first, because, of course, I know stem cell deterioration is one of the hallmarks of aging and is really, well, maybe the holy grail to solutions or to solve that problem of aging. But I thought of stem cell injections and all that kind of things, and I didn't believe in that at all. And I'm still not a believer in that path, by the way. But when I had the time during COVID to study, let's say, the GHK copper pathway, I got really interested, and I had so many studies that were like eye openers also for my type of issues with lipid peroxidation, high cholesterol, stuff like that. So then my only question really was to, do these patches elevate this GHK copper? So I read a couple of articles about that, but I contacted, Melinda Connor of Lifewave, and I asked her for data, because for me, the studies were, okay, the conclusions are clear, but I wanted to see the data myself. And she sent me by email and everything. We had some here and two, forward going emails. And she sent me data, and I could, really verify that these GHK copper levels are increased significantly, statistically significantly, in all people in the study within 2 to 7 days. So that was for me one of the big selling points, apart from what I was seeing around me and around Gail, with people, doctors, helping patients, having remarkable results. At first, for me, that was like, oh, these are all kinds of miracles. But when I looked into all the studies, I began to understand why it did what it did. And I got really enthusiastic myself. And I use these patches now myself. And there are a couple of pathways for me that are really important. So I do the stem cell activation. I do glutathione carnosine, because carnosine is also really very important for your intestinal or internal organs. And beside that, I said carnosine, yeah. And sometimes I do glutathione, but that's something that I do irregularly. But for me, a couple of these pathways are really very important, and I'm feeling very healthy. And I can maybe I can share a little bit why I think the X39 and the glutathione, or the X39 and the X49 are also so important for me. I don't know if I share anything yet. Probably not. Let me go here.
There you go.
Okay, so I go here.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, you asked me this afternoon to also talk a little bit about X39 and X49, and it's I think they're very elegant products, very very elegant, because there are no drugs involved. I really like the concept of activating your own pathways, because you cannot overdose. It's safe, and in this case, you don't even get anything besides a few light waves into your body. So it's really, in my opinion, clean, safe, and for stem cells, really affordable. But who am I? Okay, so I in my discussions and also the things that I read, Melinda Connor, who is, as you probably all know, independent researcher. She does a lot of work also for I think Lifewave on the X39 and X49 front, and she told us that the really the best point in research is just under the belly button. It's called the CV6 point. Maybe people are familiar with that terminology, but it activates your stem cells, and it creates more stem cells and resets them to a younger state. They're blank pluripotent stem cells, meaning they can turn into any cell that needs to repair. And if you put these younger stem cells on older tissue, that tissue also gets younger. So it not only strengthens 7 amino acid pathways, but it also resets 4,000 genes to a younger state, meaning that it's, in my opinion, not just anti-aging, but age reversing. And I can show you my situation or my internal age. I kept that for my last slide. But now we have like also the X49. So, and I think it's important to tell everybody that this is a really, really interesting, cool product, but you cannot use it by itself. You have to use it in combination with the X39. That's because the X49 is an analog, like a daughter of the GHK copper complex. They're both tripeptides. One is with the glycine, the other is with the alanine. And as you can see, Melissa told us that there is an optimal spot to place this patch. And in, let's say, the acupressure terminology, that would be the ST36 point on your right leg. And that's just below the knee, a little bit to the outside. So this whole GHK copper is known in hair growth. I mean, that's like general knowledge, but Connor and other in the study found independently from any other researchers that the X49 is all about building your physical body. So they found that 71% increase of grip strength in 60-year-olds, a 10% reduction of fat, and that within 60 days. And well, they found also bone growth. I don't know the specific, but I assume that must be bone density. So that will be very important also in helping people with or supporting people with osteoporosis, because the current medication is not building bone, but it's reducing, decreasing of bone, so the osteoclast. And this is a different ballgame. This is increasing bone density. And there are some things reported about reversing brain disorders. And well, I didn't put it in writing. Let's wait for the studies, but I heard 2 major areas, ALS and Parkinson. So let's wait for the study, but those are the things that the combination of X39 and X49 can do for you.
Dr. Erik, let me have one moment here. For all of you that have a moment and a phone, please take a picture of this. Dr. Erik, this is amazing. I mean, he basically just told you what X39 does and what X49 does and where to wear it. We've all been asking. CV6 point is the central vessel. And he actually got to talk to Dr. Melinda Connor, who is the independent researcher for Lifewave, who wrote all the studies. So if you go to startx39.com and look at research and patents, which that's what Dr. Sanders does, you will see her name on that. And so I myself have even started wearing many of my patches on the CV6 under the belly button, because that is the root of your immune system. And thank you, Dr. Erik. We were all having confusion about the X49 and that it goes right there below the right knee. The last thing that I thought was amazing to learn is just how the two patches work together and really what they are doing for us in so many ways. So I just wanted to thank you, Dr. Sanders, for putting that together in such a concise way. And Dr. Sanders told me today that when he told me that, do you know when you strengthen 17 amino acid pathways, that is the building block to your proteins, which is the building block to life, right? And so, I mean, it just, it just gave this slide gives me a different perspective based on a doctor doing the research. So thank you so much, doctor, for making this for us. Okay, go on.
Yes. Well, basically, this is like a summary of the stem cell activation patches that Lifewave brings to market, X39, X49. I think it's really amazing stuff. And I just wanted to share you what we did before. So I had a myocardial infarction. I have 3 stents in my heart, maybe still there, because when I was on that operating table, the cardiologist said, when I asked, how long will these stents last? He said, well, maybe 20 years. But I was 47 by that, so I was not really convinced about that. But what happened, really, he said, you have the arteries of a 75-year-old. You can measure that, right? Aortic pulse wave velocity, stuff like that. And you have to take these medicines for the rest of your life. But I didn't like that. So what I'm doing now, let's say 40 years later, I weaned off all my drugs, right? Under supervision of my physician. So, and I replaced it with activating my own biological pathways that were, let's say, out of sync, and also using these patch therapeutics, as I call them. So it was, I think, was it the 30th of November? I recorded my internal age. My chronological age is 65, and my internal age at 10 o'clock in the morning was like 36.
Okay, wait a minute, doctor. Just stop for a minute. Okay, so what you have, because he's a doctor, so he has all these devices. So he's putting some device on himself to measure all this. And are you actually telling me that your actual age is 65, but the measurements on these machines that you take at home put you at 36? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that was at 10 o'clock. And at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it was 33.
Where's that one at?
Here, top left.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it's a matter of, it's aortic pulse wave velocity. It's recommended by the reinsurance group of America to their underwriters to ask for this, because this is a more important biomarker than blood pressure, cholesterol levels, your reactive protein, or even your lipids, or your A1C. This is the best predictor of general health, and to predict if somebody is up for, let's say, an event. And it's called aortic pulse wave velocity. It's a how do you call it? It's an algorithm developed by the University of Cambridge, and you measure it, it sends it, and you get your age back.
Wow, that's amazing.
So that's it. But I'm good.
Somebody asked, how do we get these tests? Can anybody get this kind of a test?
Well, you can get a test, but they can contact me. I will test them. But it's not very expensive, I can tell you. But
well, Erik, why don't you put your name in chat? I'm sure everybody's going to want to know you. So this is Dr. Erik Sanders. He said he would actually do this for you. Isn't that cool? So if you'd like, Erik, put the name in chat, and you guys can give him a call and get to know him. You go into chat. Do you see your chat? You might need to stop.
Everybody in meeting. Okay.
And you might need to stop your share screen. So So after you do that, so Dr. Erik Sanders, really,
Yeah.
he's a researcher. He's a pharma guy. He's a guy that had a heart attack. He started wearing the patches. And I do say that you are now talking to a believer, in anybody that shows at age 65 and an internal age of 33. How can you not believe? And, thank you, doctor, for sharing your story and the science. What a beautiful combination. So Dr. Erik, why don't you unshare screen, and we'll let Dr. Stacy finish the call on how about David and how to get the product. I don't think we need to talk anymore about how the product works. I think the doctor told us. So that's done. So go ahead, Stacy.
Right? Mind blown.
Oof.
Right? Mind blown.
Right.
Woo! Okay, well, we are at a total of, I think we had 200 and almost 10 people on here tonight. So that is fabulous. You guys got an earful. Wow, so much to go back and share with every single person you know. Thank you so much, Dr. Sanders, for sharing all of that, for having all that available on screen share as well, too. Your knowledge base is just very impressive. Thank you so much for taking your time out to do this. So let me tell you how you can get these stem cell activation patches, X39. You have a few options. Option one is you can purchase a pack, which is a sleeve. It's a month's supply for only $150 retail. Not too bad. But we know that everybody loves a little bit of a discount, right? Save a little bit. So you can be a preferred customer. It's $19.95. If you'd like to be a preferred customer, we can get you set up on an auto ship for 6 months, and you'll only pay $99 for your month supply of your stem cell activation patch, the X39. But if you're like myself, Marcy, Dr. Sanders, and many of you on the call tonight, we opted for a wholesale account. Everybody has the ability to get a wholesale account. There's no sign-up fee. We like the silver pack. Silver is $2.99. And what that does is it gives you the option to get 3 of the stem cell activation patches, 3 months worth, one for yourself, one for a friend or spouse, partner, and then one to share with somebody else. Okay. So that stem cell activation patch X39, we get 3 of those in our silver pack for only $2.99. Now, once you have that pack, you heard Dr. Sanders talk about the X39, X49 combo. Once you have your silver pack, you purchase that, you do have the ability to go in as a promo right now. We're in pre-launch with the X39, X49 for only $169 for a month supply of each. Okay. And if you're like myself, this company is 17 years old. And when I researched David Schmidt, our inventor, creator, owner of the company, CEO, that started this company 17 years ago after being commissioned by the Navy SEALs to create something to help the SEALs with sustainability and endurance and stamina in the field, and has went on to develop 10 other patches, all while doing the R&D on the stem cell activation patch. This just came out 2 years ago. 20-year patent on it. And you obviously heard the studies. There's startx39.com to grab all of those, of course. But when I looked at this, I said, I not only want a wholesale account, I also want to be able to have the ability to share with everybody I know so that they can themselves purchase these stem cell activation patches to have a better quality of life. So I decided to join the company as a distributor. And if you're interested in that, please get back with the person that invited you. We can help you change humanity one person at a time, improving the quality of their life from so many things, as you heard some tonight, of course, with this stem cell activation patch. So with that being said, pick your pack. I'm going to send it back to Marcy. Marcy, if you will close it up for us, please, I would appreciate it.
I will. And I just want to also remind you that the X39 does have a 20-year patent, and that can be found at startx39.com as well as all the research that Dr. Sanders was talking about. And you just go to patents and research. And the one thing I'll say about the patent, in the patent, it says that yes, X39 does activate the GHK copper peptide, which stimulates those stem cells, which Dr. Sanders explained in the document. Dr. Sanders, I want you to know that you have at least 43 people on chat giving you love, appreciating all your information. And the one thing they're all asking for is if you could send me those documents, because they would like me to put it on Telegram for them, because they say it's so good and valuable, and they would like to be able to share it with people they love. So I am sure Dr. Erik will be happy to get that to me, and we'll be sure to do that. So it is 6:34. I am so glad you all were here to listen to the doctor tonight. I hope you enjoyed X39 from a little different perspective tonight, and X49 as well. And it is Thursday. We will see you Saturday, 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock Eastern. That will be Peter No and myself, and that is our Saturday training. And we are training on the gifting of the sharing, the gift of sharing. And that is our system, the 331. And once again, that's our Saturday training. Otherwise, after that, we will be back Monday for our review and testimonial. Call at 6 o'clock Pacific with Peter No and Suzanne McGee. Once again, it's always this same Zoom channel, which is, Stacy, do you have that Zoom channel right in front of you that you can?
379-717-7845.
I know she had that memorized. I just knew it. So with that, good night, everyone. We love you, and thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye now.